So you've signed up for your first Trackday experience. Despite what you may hear, you don't need to drop a bunch of money in mods for your car or buy a fireproof racing suit. In fact, it's not as intimidating as you might think. But before you show up, there are a few things that you should do and a few things that you should bring. Now, one of the most important things that you need to do before you take your car to the track is make sure that the brakes are working. So do a visual inspection. You don't have to take your tire off like this, but you can just kind of look through the tire and make sure there's no rust, no chips out of the rotor. If you can see the pads, make sure there's a decent amount of pad life left. Actually take your car out onto the road. Feel the brake pedal. Is it soft or squishy or spongy? If it is, maybe it's time for a brake fluid flush. If you hear any noise or there's a reduction in stopping power, it's probably time for some new brake pads. But don't take my word for it. When you go into the track, I'm sure you'll find out going into the first corner. After you're done a brake inspection, it's probably a good idea to do a quick suspension inspection as well. It's difficult to see if there's anything visually wrong with it, but obvious stuff like a broken spring or a huge leak, you can see. Now drive down the road and make sure there's no thunks or knocks, and make sure the car isn't pulling hard one way or the other. You don't want to have any alignment issues or anything that's going to surprise you when you're going really fast down the straightaways. Now, it's a good idea to inflate your tire 5 to 10 psi over what the manufacturer specifies, not on the tire, what's written in your glove box or in the door or something like that. Because when you're driving really hard and you're cornering, you'll actually put a lot of lateral stress on the rubber. And what that does is it can actually fold the rubber over on the sidewall. You don't want that to happen because it will destroy the sidewall of your tire. A trick is some people put a little line of chalk here and you can see how much the rubber is actually folding over back and forth in high cornering speeds. It's a good idea to bring a portable air compressor with you to the track so that you can check the pressure and reinflate or deflate the tires depending on where your pressure's at. There isn't anything special that you need to do to your engine before a track day, just basic maintenance. Oil change, air filter change, make sure that the car isn't running rough and there's no obvious leaks from any of the systems. Once you're done prepping the car for the track, you have to prep yourself. Bring things like extra food and water, lots of sunscreen, and an umbrella. You also should bring some basic tools, maybe a torque wrench, jack stands if you want to get fancy, socket set if you don't know how to use those things, don't bother. Bring some extra oil for your engine and a full tank of gas. When you get to the track, make sure you take all of those things out of the car because you don't want them sloshing around when you're going around the corners. As for safety gear, I wear a helmet at the track very often, but check with your local track or the school that you're going to be running with and see what their regulations are. If you can, don't forget to bring a camera or a GoPro because watching your laps afterwards and seeing how you progress throughout the day is a great way to build on your new skills and remember how much fun you had. But most importantly, be safe and get out there and drive.